Well, vintage with a touch of modern was the brief for the Redbacks, and Josh and Jenna delivered with their bright and airy kitchen this week. Guys, I just loved that blue cabinetry, a very bold decision.
It was a really risky move, but I think it paid off, and I think it was the touch with the leather handles that made the big difference this week.
We just wanted to create something that reflected the house, and it was very humble, so you could add basic shelving and just a simple layout, but attention to detail was what we were looking at.
And the timber adds a real sense of warmth.
The blue with the timber and the addition of the dowel under the island bench area I think was a really good combination. Otherwise the blue on its own might have been a little bit much, but we were all about textures this week.
It's beautiful. Look at this. Look at this.
This was definitely a kitchen that looks like you could create on a budget too.
It's a very simple kitchen, so we just had a U shape and we didn't have any overheads, which cut the cost down for us, and we had some basic shelving made up, and we had some flat finish doors rather than panelling, because that's always a bit dearer as well. So obviously with time restraints and the brief, we really wanted to make the kitchen look exactly how it was.
And the Caesar stone bench tops in the grey, I guess they add an element of sophistication when you're creating a vintagey look.
Yeah, well, we had the flat finish cupboards and the white covers on the fridge, so we wanted to bring a bit of texture in too. So we had like a white with a little bit of grey marbling through, and I think that added just a touch of class to jazz up the kitchen a bit more.
And what was it like to work with Freedom? Because they come in and they consult and help you with the design process.
Freedom are fantastic. We have to make a decision on the kitchens within the first hour, so it really is important to have somebody that really knows what they're talking about. So Freedom were great with us, and we ended up being able to customise it a little bit to suit what we thought was the client's brief, so it was a really great result in the end.
Everything in the kitchen was thought of, so we made a custom bulkhead for the range hood, and then we also had a beautiful massive white porcelain sink that sort of brought in a country cottagey feel to the house. So I think those little details are the ones that count.
We hid the fridge behind one of the panels, and in the corner we really thought about the cabinet, so you'd be able to pull the whole thing out and actually reach those back spaces in the corner of the kitchen. Obviously being a U shape, there was two big corners, so we didn't want to waste any space.
Wow, back there.
Wow, from in here. The light that's coming in is amazing.
Having the bifold window in the kitchen is a great idea. Obviously when you're entertaining, if you're cooking, you can then be able to entertain outside. So I think it was a really nice link for a house that we couldn't really knock down and put bifolds in, so I think that really worked in the kitchen area.
And finally, what's your top tip for interiors addict readers when it comes to creating a kitchen with a vintage feel?
Well, we love using Caesar stone, but sometimes you have to cut back on costs. So the way we did that this time was, instead of a waterfall edge, we got creative with timber and we painted some dowel and trimmed it around the outside of the island bench. So we thought that was a beautiful little touch to the kitchen.
To create the vintage feel in this kitchen, we were going with a really modern kitchen base from Freedom Kitchen, so we wanted to add leather handles just to add that little bit of a unique, clever vintage touch.